What's up? In this video, we're going to talk about exactly how I crossed 100K invested at the age of 25. No crypto, no penny stocks, no crazy hedge fund infusions, just my plan and how it worked over the last few years, and hopefully you can learn something from that. So let's go ahead and get into it. And to set the groundwork, by no means do I want this video to come off as bragging. I don't work in finance. I didn't go to school for finance. When I started investing in college, I knew very little about it. I'm just someone who seeked out a lot of information, watched a lot of videos like this, learned some things, and stayed consistent over the last few years. And so hopefully by me sharing my journey, you can see what might work for you and what might help you out, and hopefully get to that 100K as well. That said, let's go ahead and get into it. Just to show that I actually did this, I want to show a couple of my accounts on here. Just make sure that you guys know that I'm not faking this. So there's one account. You can see live tracker on it. That's my traditional brokerage account that actually just hit 100K this year. So that was very cool. And then this is my overall portfolio. This is 401k, Roth IRA, and everything. So you can see that changing there as well too. So I actually did this. I'm not just making this up. So just want to show that real quick before we go ahead and get into the video. When I started investing, I was 19 years old. So I was back in 2018. I opened a TD Ameritrade account, I opened a Robinhood account at the time, and I got started investing like that. I hit 100K total after about 5 or 6 years of investing. So in 2024, my overall investments actually crossed the 100K mark. And then just this year, I actually crossed 100K in the traditional brokerage account, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's what I shared recently on X. So overall, it took me about 5 or 6 years to reach that initial 100K invested, of course, with some help from the market. Next, I kind of want to get into a little bit of my income and savings rate over my investing journey. So when I started investing, it was in college. So I did not have a lot of extra disposable income. Luckily, I was blessed to have some great parents who did help us out in school. And so I was able to graduate debt-free from college, which was a big help. Another big thing in college was that I actually landed 3 different internships. These were a huge help with not only paying for school, but also for helping me hit some investing goals during that time. And so I think those internships paid around $30 an hour, and I worked those for about 3 months over the summers usually. When I was in college, those were engineering internships. And then also picked up some side jobs. So one Christmas when I came home, I actually worked as a part-time delivery driver for deliver assistant for UPS. I wasn't actually the driver, but helped deliver packages over Christmas. So that was an interesting job that I did. And then one of the summers as well too, I also basically built like outdoor showers for some folks since we live near the coast, on some bay houses and that kind of thing. So I just did some handyman work as well. So mowed a lot of yards, all that kind of stuff as well too, to make some extra cash. But between the internships and some of those extra jobs that I had, that really allowed me to kind of slowly progress my investing. I didn't make any huge moves, but in college it let me have some funds left over to invest after school. Leaving school is when I got my first full-time job, and I started off there about $40 an hour with a signing bonus that I think was around, I want to say $7,000 or so. That's a mechanical engineering job coming out of school, so you can kind of do the math on that. And then here over the last few years, I've progressed in my role and currently making around $53 an hour with some different bonuses that come in during the year. So you can kind of see how my income has increased. That's over the last few years, which has been a huge thing. And it's honestly something that not a lot of people on investing channels talk about. They want to say, be consistent investing and, make sure you invest a certain amount, and, here's what you should invest in. And all that is important, but the biggest factor when it comes to investing and increasing your investments is increasing your income. You can only cut so much. The biggest factor when it comes to putting money into your accounts is increasing your income. It might sound dry, but that's really how it is. There's a huge difference in making 60K a year and someone making 200K a year. That amount of disposable income in there will make a massive difference long term in your investing account. So yes, it is important, even if you're making a ton of money, to still invest, and it obviously will grow. But if you really want to grow your investments, you need to find a way to also grow your income. And now that you have an idea of income, I also want to touch on our savings rate as well. So usually my wife and I over the last few years have shot for a savings rate our investing rate of around 30%. This varies depending on what's going on. I actually have some numbers. We use Monarch to track all of our expenses. I have a full video on Monarch. I'll link it somewhere up here that you can go and check out after this video. But it's been an awesome tool. I've recommended it to all my friends. A lot of my friends use it. Even some folks in my family use it. But it's a great tool, especially if you're sharing finances with a partner. But anyways, according to Monarch, our savings rate in 2023 was 42%. In 2024, our savings rate was 46%. And then here recently in 2025, our savings rate was at 26%. So we just missed that 30% goal. We also bought a house at the end of the year, did some renovations to it as well. So we were above that 30% savings rate until we had all the house stuff happen where we had to cough up a little bit extra money. But that's how life works. So that kind of gives you an idea of our savings rate and how that's changed over the last couple years, but usually what we shoot for right now. We also don't have any kids as well, so that is a big help, I will admit, at the moment, but those are probably coming here in the future. My account order, as far as how I opened my accounts when I started investing, is that I started with a traditional brokerage account, opened a Roth IRA, and then I got a 401k and HSA when I started full-time with my employer. If I was already working and just starting to invest, I would do this order a little bit differently. I would go 401k first and make sure that you get your full 401k match. Then I would go health savings account or HSA if you have a high deductible health plan. Then I would go Roth IRA if you are eligible for a Roth IRA. I have a video on that as well too. And then finally, I would do the traditional brokerage last. The reason for those three first is that they all have a lot of tax advantages to them. And your traditional brokerage is just after tax. It's going to be taxed on your gains, but it is a much more flexible account as well too, which is why it's my favorite. But I would open those other three first if I was just getting started now and I was working full time. The last thing to kind of put the whole picture together is what I invested in over those last few years. Drum roll, wasn't anything too exciting, but it's broad market ETFs and index funds for the most part. I made some mistakes early on. I was very heavy in individual stocks, but as soon as I realized how much time that actually takes to properly pick out individual stocks, I have heavily shifted my portfolio to mostly ETFs. I think I'm over 90% ETFs right now at the moment. I also did some options when I first started. Day trading options, do not do that. That was a scary time, and honestly the amount of money I quote unquote made there would have been just better off being invested. I would have outperformed myself just investing in index funds and ETFs. And that's something that a lot of people won't tell you either, especially on these stock picking channels, is that you can beat the market, but you have to be willing to put in a ton of time to analyze companies, keep up with earnings reports, see how the board is changing, what their future holds, how their overall industry is changing, rules, regulations, all of that kind of stuff. You really need to be tied in to successfully pick individual stocks. And that is why I have moved away from that and gone more to ETFs, because I like to have a little more time. I like my investments to be a little more passive. And so that's why I've stuck with, for example, the S&P 500 is one of my biggest holdings. So overall, my assets are heavily into ETFs, index funds. I have a separate Playron account where I still do some stocks and a little bit of option stuff in there, but that is completely separated from my normal investing accounts, and that's how I would recommend to do it if you're going to do it as well, just to keep you from interfering with your main account. Another reason that I like the ETF and index fund strategy is that it's super simple, which means that it's very easy to stay consistent with. That is probably the most important factor in all of investing. Income is up there, but it's even if you make a lot of money but you don't stay consistent with your investing, your accounts still aren't going to see that level of compounding if you stay consistent. Having a simple strategy like ETF and index fund investing allows you to stay consistent. It allowed me to just monthly, hey, bang, 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 I'm going to invest no matter if the market is up, down, sideways. It didn't matter. With that simple investment strategy, I only had to think about it, for minutes a month. And nowadays you can set it up automatically on your phone if you have an internet connection. That's the best way to do it. Automate it so you don't even think about it, and then you honestly have more free time to go out there and focus on raising your income, for example. To close things out, me reaching 100K invested at 25 wasn't anything special. It was really just about me staying consistent and letting the market do its thing. I hope you found this helpful with my journey. If you have any questions specifically, drop a comment down below and I will get to it as soon as possible. But thank you for watching. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. There's some more in-depth topics about some of the things I went into here. But like I said, thank you for watching. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you in the next one.